And welcome, ladies, to this session of Impactful Relationships, Leveraging Mentorship and Coaching. As a good Toastmaster, I'd love to get to know you in the audience. So in the chat, would you please let me know if you are a Toastmaster or a guest or some other field that's attending this conference today? And we have a poll that's up right now. Go ahead and respond to that as well. Have you experienced more of being a mentor or mentee, or have you reached out as a coach or received coaching as well? Please let us know. Let's go ahead and do that right now as well. Thank you for your input here. Let's see. Toastmaster from another club. I'm a guest. Well, welcome. Toastmasters has changed my life, I will tell you. Excellent. VOW Club. We have some guests, a good mix of guests and good mix of Toastmasters. Thank you all for responding. And let's look at, interesting, we have more coaching than mentorship. We need both, no matter what. And we'll go through in our session today, we'll talk a little bit about the difference between the two and give some definitions. So I'll go ahead and in the poll right now and give you the results. The results are mentorship at 36%, and then coaching is at 64%. So thank you for entering that information. Now I'll share a transition. I'll transition now into my presentation. Impactful relationships. You can see on the screen, we're starting off right now with the mentoring and coaching and all of the keywords that feed into that entire experience. But let's reflect back. There was a time when someone believed in us more than we ever knew to believe in ourselves. And it was in that moment where if you were that person who was receptive to that mentoring experience, you had a great experience. I'd love to share my very first mentoring opportunity that I am so forever grateful for. And throughout the session today, we'll talk a little bit more about key mentorship relationships. But I was in my college years, and I don't know if I was a freshman. I don't think I was a freshman, but there was a lady that in the engineering department served as my boss because I was on a work study program, and she was the lady that I reported to. And we would talk about some things that were going on in my personal life. And I drove a car that was a fixer-upper. At that time, my dad gave me a car to move around. So I probably was a junior then. And I needed new tires. And she said, well, don't you have a job? I had a little job at McDonald's. And she encouraged me. She said, why don't you go ahead, if you need to get new tires, try to get those tires and do a payment plan. She gave me a few steps. But just that simple statement empowered me to be able to have that courage to where when in my life, changing tires, and this is a metaphor for that experience, turned into larger and bigger decisions that I had to make, I can go back to that moment where I felt so good about getting those tires and putting them on my car, and I could travel and continue to do what I needed to do with that car. But Bernice Ruth is her real name, and I'll share it because she is one lady that supported me in that area. Now, I'll give credit to my mom and to my aunt, but this was a person that was in my surroundings on a daily basis in university where my mom wasn't always there. So this lady is a true mentor and has been in my life. Moving forward, Michelle Obama says it. There's no limit to what we as women can accomplish. And we heard Dr. Wood talk all about it, that we cannot do this by ourselves. There's no way that anything in life comes by our decision alone. We'll accept your personal finances, you can do that. But whenever we work together, We are not doing this, are not deciding on our own. This is a time for us to reach up and reach back. So in our session today, leveraging mentorship and coaching, we'll go over how we can build our own board of directors. This is the team that will help us succeed in making those decisions and working with us on our goals to accomplish. Relationship building, the relationship building is so key. And we'll talk about some tips on how to get that started. And then empowering yourself, empowering others. We must reach back, give back after we know a few things, because we're all lifelong learners, and we can continue in that way to make sure that we succeed together. I'm going to go on a little bit. I'm going to go into the gallery. I see that I am the only person here. At some point, I'd love some interaction from you. So if you have a moment to turn on your screen, feel free to do that. But I want to just have this as interactive as we can. The first moment, let's go through a few definitions. There's mentorship and coaching, and you can see in each one of the categories, there's some definitions on what mentorship is versus what coaching is. Mentorship, this is where you have a relationship with someone for what it could be a lifetime experience. I have a relationship with a young lady who we had different dynamics that were in sync together. And so we became life coaches for each other, maybe me so more so for her, but that's a beautiful experience there. That's a longer term experience versus coaching. Coaching is more structured, more focused on a particular goal that you want to set. So the coaching might come with a price tag. You may pay for that service, or you might find a sister friend that would give that relationship for no charge, because we are all here to give back and share our experiences. So on the mentorship, this is where that first question that we had in the beginning of our session, where are you? Are you in the more mentorship or coaching? And because we had so many opportunities where you mentioned coaching, maybe by the end of this session, you'll be in a mentorship relationship and you be the mentor, or you have more focus and more time to build that mentoring relationship. Now, your own personal directors. These are the teams that's going to help you succeed. So first one, your first personal director is your mentor. And I have mentee on here as well. So you can mentor. You can have a mentor on your personal board of directors. And the mentee, you can learn from a mentee as well. I'll share that I had a mentee that was assigned to me in Women of Visionary Influence. And you saw that I was the board president. Someone sent me a message, and when they found out this very new person was my mentee, they said, well, Monica, Cynthia is very new to the organization. What do you have to learn from her? I didn't go in with a closed mind. I kept my mind open, and I said, whatever will happen, will happen. I didn't judge. I didn't preset myself to say I'm the higher leader. I just walked into that relationship, and it was a beautiful relationship. I'll share a quick tip. What we did, we had the conversation. She said, share what experiences you bring, and I'll share mine, and we see how we can meet together. She helped me recreate my LinkedIn profile. I listed all of my information on my LinkedIn profile, but I needed to have it updated, showing all of my levels of progression in my leadership at my professional job as a mechanical engineer, and to add my community service. She gave me a framework. She didn't tell me how to do it. The work was mine. So she set me up for success in that arena. I learned so much from that mentee, and today we stay connected. She's now married and her whole life has changed, but I learned so much from that. So be open to have mentors and mentee to look as an opportunity for us to learn. The next one is a coach. We talked a little bit about coaches. This is the person that will give you that direction. And sometimes if they're really working on something major, it might come with a price tag. Now, your accountability partners, these are the people that will keep you motivated and keep you on track. Have you done this lately? When was the last time you exercised? Let's go together. That's that accountability person. And then the next one is your cheerleaders. This is your family members. This is the team that you can call when you are having that very bad day, because your family is close to you. They will never judge you. They will never give you a harsh treatment. They will welcome you in because they love you for that reason. And actually, your personal board of directors should love you no matter what stage they're in what capacity. So I'd love for us all right now to, in the chat, put in what role do you need to have filled in your personal board of directors? Do you have all of the leaders here, all of the team available? Or do you need to fill in some? And let me look in the chat and see, what do you need? What do we need to talk about? Accountability coaching. Need a mentor. We'll talk about how to find those mentors. Anyone else? So your cheerleaders, if you can go beyond family and friends, look to see those cheerleaders that are already doing the same thing. You heard I did run half marathons. I ran them. Now I've backed off and gone down to 5Ks. But my accountability members are those ladies that are still running. I saw just a friend the other day and she sent me her run list. So I'm going to get re-engaged in that 5K or maybe the 10K distances. And for distances, that's 3 miles or 6 miles and the 0.1 and 0.2 on the end. They're so much fun. But that's a person that I look for as an accountability person. Ms. Khan is seeking a coach. I found cheerleaders from my Toastmasters group. Absolutely. Those are our cheerleaders as well. They keep us motivated. So we can search in our areas that we are involved in to build our personal board of directors. Thank you for entering into the chat. Now, if you're still looking for a person on your personal board of directors, this is one thing that I did in the workplace as an engineer. We often don't see many female role models. So I look to a leader in the industry. This is Carla Fiorina. She's on LinkedIn, and I subscribed to her sessions that talks a little bit about different topics that I was interested in. And just to prove to you how deep she goes, this is my email inbox. I have them in a different folder altogether. So when I'm looking for topics on driving change, communication leadership, I opened that one and I read it, but I marked it unread so that when I know I want to go back to it, it's already bold and I can go directly to it. But look at those leaders that are in those high leadership roles that can give us mentoring through their words and their keynotes. This was so profound for me. What else can you think of? Before we can go the next step, I believe it really is important to know who we are in how we think, how we operate, because when you're going to build that board of directors or start networking, we really need to know who we are. Are you that introvert? Are you that extrovert? You may not believe it, but I am an introvert. I get my energy in silence, or I go to a book and I read to compare my thoughts. But when I come out, when I'm in Toastmasters, I'm in my safe zone because I have fun there. But if you have ever taken a personality test, go ahead and put it in the chat. Which one have you taken? There's something called the DESC. There's Myers-Briggs. Let us know what you've done. There's also one here I have on the screen, the high five test. This will give you your 5 top strengths. And when we know that we're working in our strengths, this goes back to confidence and building your skills. Knowing who you are really makes the difference. And I've also read Strength Finders 2.0. Let's see what's in the chat. Before I go and read through the chat, I want you to know also, if you've taken these assessments years ago, when was the last time you've taken one of these and you've served in a leadership role? It's probably a good time to go ahead and reassess where you are, because you would have grown from where you started in that leadership profile on your personality. You would have, through experiences, would have changed some of your thoughts and build more strengths that you've had. So Myers-Briggs, thank you, Jill, ENTJ. Yes, thank you. Myers-Briggs, DISC, Strengths Finders. Absolutely. Oh, also EQ is one from, thank you, Leanne. Awesome. See, I'm learning too. I'm going to go ahead and save my chat right now. And I encourage everyone throughout through our conversations today, go ahead and save the chat. You want to take these nuggets away. Beautiful. Okay. Now on to relationship building. Someone's already said it. The first one, we're going to network. Network through your Toastmasters clubs or any other organizations where you're around a lot of people and see and just have those conversations. It doesn't take a whole lot to find a person that is doing something that you want to do because they've been there. I have another quick share. I was at a Toastmaster convention and there was a past international director, and this was before I was elected to the board of directors, that was standing right outside the candidates showcase. This is where all of the candidates would come and talk to the district leaders. And she was just standing out there. And this lady I know had a strong personality, and being an introvert, I might not have really approached her, but I wanted a mentor to ask about the journey. So I walked up to her and we're shoulder to shoulder. I said, if there's any room on your mentoring table, I'd love to have a seat. I don't know where those words came from, but I said them out loud. It was all in the ask. And she said, fine, let's book a time. And her mantra was always, if it's not scheduled, it's not happening. So I left that conference. I was so excited that she was the person that I would now have a connection with. And I'll tell you, that relationship has been seems like a lifetime so far. I've been in Toastmasters for 18 years, 19 years. And she is my go-to person. We talk about a lot of things, but she helped me through some very difficult moments in leading and learning. So Toastmasters is amazing for that, but look to see what network you're involved in and build those relationships there. Engage in professional organizations. I'm in Women of Visionary Influence. What organizations are you a member of? You can look to engage in that network with someone that you have not had a conversation with, maybe at another conference or through LinkedIn. Build a relationship there. Send a quick note. Hey, I see you, we're in the same organization. Let's have a chat. Let's meet for coffee if you're in person. Seek industry experts. And now in the engineering field, Carly was my expert, but find leaders in your field that you can connect with and build that network. Be proactive. I said it was all about the ask. We have leaders who are just waiting to ask us. The true mentor will not impose themselves on you. So if you're looking to be a mentor or you are a mentor, that relationship is the person for the person who really drives that is the mentee. They create that space. Let's meet at this time and then we'll talk about goals. And I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but be proactive. Have a plan. If you don't have a mentor right now, start thinking about where you want to ask that question, and then be diligent. Ask, maybe set a scale, maybe 3 to 5. You'll contact 3 to 5 people and see if they have availability. Ask if you have time on your schedule. My question was in the metaphor. If you have room on your mentoring plate, I'd love to have a seat. Be proactive. Do the ask. Yeah, this one is a treat. In my preparation for today's session, this is one book. You heard I love to read, that I really have this book. And in today's session, I want to pull from one of the pages in Leading the Life You Want. There, in this book, has sections that you have a skill you want to build, and it gives an associated exercise. So today, let's take a few notes. If you've got some note paper next to you, or if you've got your phone and you want to go into your note settings, or just listen here, come back, and because it's only 2 steps. In your networking, to build a supportive network, you take 3 to 5 people who matter most to you. Write those names down. Now think of one item that you have, one skill that you have to share back, that you can provide in this relationship, and have that as an opportunity to share in that approach when you're having that conversation, because you have a skill that is unique to yourself. No one else can do what you do, and they can't do it better than you, because only you, we're going into Dr. Seuss now, but only you can be you, and you are unique to yourself. So you are bringing a skill. Take your 3 to 5 list, and in your relationships or in your opportunities to talk, when you have that conversation like Cynthia and I had, you can bring something that you can share. And in mentoring, there's a giver and a receiver. So someone always should be receiving, and you can have reciprocity there. So when someone asked me to mentor them, I said, we are going into a mentor-mentor relationship, because I'm going to learn from you as well. But I love this quote from what Helen Keller says: walking with a friend in the dark is better than walking alone in the light. So knowing that we, again, to repeat it, we don't do anything by ourselves, because we can always have help along the way. Our next step is, how do we maximize that mentor-mentee relationship? And this is to go back to the board of directors experience and setting goals for ourselves. We want to set clear goals. What do we want to actually accomplish? How can we get there? And put some guidelines around it, some goals that you want to have. And they will change as you reach different goals, or you might come to a point in reassessing where you are in this journey. And I think the book that I shared today goes along with that, because you're leading in a way that lets you shine at your very best. We go through these assessment tests that say, this is who we are. We don't look for those things that we are not strong in, because it would take too much time, according to Strengths Finders, to go ahead and repair that. So we're working in our successes. So as we set our goals, let's set those clear goals that let us continue to shine upon where we are succeeding and ready. Be open to feedback. Be that person who is coachable, who is mentorable. Feedback helps us grow. At the end of my presentation today, I'd love to hear your feedback, because this helps me grow in all aspects. The next one is take consistent action. Don't say, I'm going to do it. We'll leave you with a call to action at the end of today's session, because we want to take steps. Now that you've heard it, it's time to act on it and apply it. Show appreciation. Once you spend that time with someone, to get the most out of it, you will not be ready for the excitement that will come when you just send a note card to someone you've changed one step in their journey, and they gave you that feedback. I asked a lady, or one lady asked me for a mentoring session, just another quick share. She asked to be a better leader in a certain area. And through our conversations, we were talking, and I could tell there was something missing in that moment. And so I asked her one question about it. I said, is the reason why you feel like you need to stay connected with your team is because maybe you don't trust them? and I heard crickets. She paused for a good amount of time. Maybe a minute was a long time for that conversation. But she said, yes, Monica, I have a problem with trusting. And I said, you have to trust the team. You have to let them have some autonomy because that's their opportunity to grow. So in showing appreciation, I reached back, or she reached back to me and said, Monica, wow, in that next meeting, she gave me all of my flowers that I needed to hear that said I was impactful in her journey. And I wish I would have taken notes that day, but I missed that. But she's a lifelong friend for me. But let's go over these again. Set clear goals, stay open to feedback, take consistent action, and show appreciation. I see something going on in the chat. Let's see what's going on. Okay, Natalie, I'm going to look and see what that scavenger hunt is all about. Everyone go ahead and download that. Awesome. Thank you for recapping what I said on mentorship. Contact your 3 to 5 people. Thank you. All right. Now that we've known it and grown it because you've learned and you found who you were as a thought leader, where you fit in your personality profile, it's time for us to share back. And that's what this mentorship session for me is doing. I'm so excited to be able to share back as well. I found this quote by the founder of AARP, and she talks so much about giving back. And she goes back to 1966, and her words are truer today than ever. So it's a time for us to share our experience. Talk about those things, those lessons learned, the best practices, things that we could do to help to continue to make a difference in the lives of others. We don't have to go into the deep stories, and it's not an open book, but when that time comes where you see that the story you share can change the trajectory in someone's life, that's where there's power and you can make a difference. The next one is provide that structured guidance. Give tools, resources, things that have helped you, but give it in a way that's loving and encourage that person to think and do for themselves, and then come back with a conversation. Have an opportunity where you can test your systems and what's working. Encouragement and challenges along the way helps. The encouragement keeps us going, and the challenge gives us something to reach up to. And I look at mentoring as we're reaching up, we're reaching down to help someone else up. Fun story. I was scuba diving somewhere, and I'm a person that loves extreme sports and loves challenging my mind, but I'm diving in a place in the Caribbean, and I'm getting anxious because the dive is taking a little long. And at some moment I was not sure about where the team was going. And I looked back, I had a friend that was diving with me, and I reached back up to her to bring her up to my level so that we could dive together. And when we got on land, she said, Monica, thank you for lifting me up. I told her, Samara, I needed that more than you did. And we just hugged. We had a good exchange. So take that same experience when you're reaching back to someone to help them up. Ooh, I just got to chill. That's so profound, because you never know how you're changing that life. And then it's our job to develop future leaders. I saw some people in the chat, you've served in different leadership roles. Keep going and bring somebody with you. I have encouraged others, but when I'm around Toastmasters, you all are encouraging me by your responses and your participation. And that goes into some development as well. But on the level, if you see the shiny person, the shiny penny, we call them in Toastmasters, that person that keeps showing up, they keep asking questions, they're curious, they're reading, they want to know what you know, and you are happy to share. This is where we develop our leaders. It's by personal testimony. We can do pathways, and that gives us the book sense, but it's nothing like having that actual experience to get engaged. If you have a job that you know that you can share with one person, that is something that will take that responsibility off your plate, share that with them. And it could go, you could see this in your workplace, you can do this at home, you can be an encourager in every aspect. Now, my call to action to us all today, because I have something to do as well. I have to finish this book because this is going to help me figure out my systems and how impactful I am. What action will you take this week to grow your mentorship network? And I'd love for you to enter that in the chat today. Someone you might start mentoring, or how will you take the next step to finding the mentor that you need or you want? Success is not just about how far you go. It's about how many people you bring with you. So we've learned that going through mentorship, the value and importance, the difference between being a mentor, having a mentor, or seeking out a coach, the impact that we can make by sharing our stories, and networking is so key. Remember the ask. Remember to stay diligent on keeping that relationship. I sent a $5 Amazon gift card to someone that made an impact in my journey, and they were so excited because they love shopping on Amazon. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be a gift card. It could be a handwritten note that says so much more. What questions do you have? We can open up for. Thank you, Glenda. I will seek out accountability partners on your current journey. That's beautiful. I think we can all come off mute if you want to. If you have a question, I can stop sharing. And this gives us some time.
Well, I just want to say thank you. Like, this has been amazing. We don't get to hear from leaders. We don't get to hear this side of things. And I just love your personality, how you express yourself, and you just really, you've empowered me certainly to ask to that there are people that want to help us, not just, give us orders. So I loved every bit of this. I feel so empowered today. Thank you. I loved everything from before, but this is necessary. Like, we need to hear this. So thank you. It's not lost.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Say your first name, please.
Ilea.
Ilea. Thank you, Ilea.
I just want to echo that. Thank you so much. That was a great presentation. And I'm definitely going to fill out my board of directors. I have a question. In terms of mentors, do you find that you seek out mentors in general, or do you, when you're seeking out someone to be your mentor, are you looking for a specific skill? And how many do you think a person needs?
Oh, great question. Your mentor should be, I would agree, for a specific skill. Now, if you're looking for someone like a life coach to be there to answer questions, then that's okay as well. You can have as many mentors as you need. I had a professional mentor, I had a Toastmaster mentor, and then my friendships, and the one lady that I mentioned with life coaching was also, I will count her as my mentor as well, because those conversations are in a way where you learn so much, and by you giving, a lot of that reflects back to you how you need to be, or how you want to be. Not that you need to be, because you are you, how you want to be. So you can have mentors in every aspect. Yes, good, great question. Denise has a hand raised.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for conceptualizing or formatting the notion of a mentor coaching relationship and the need to build a personal board of directors. And I also have to be more vigilant about leaning on the mentor that I already have, the fantastic mentor in this club. That kind of gets pushed on the back burner with other things, but that's important not only for club goals, but to achieve life goals as well. So thank you for reminding me of the importance of just taking advantage of the mentors around you or within organizations. So that's all I
Yes.
wanted to share. Thanks.
All right. One thing I just thought about, thank you for bringing that up. There's one in the question from Rita. In your personal board of directors, you really want to have, this is your group that you trust. So you want to have someone that is really going to tell you the truth. I shoot from the hip a lot of times and I have to pull myself back in, but you want to have that person that's going to tell you the truth. I don't like sugarcoats because that doesn't, and don't, I like the direct conversation. It might be a little stingy because I know I can give it, and sometimes I have to see how I receive that and adjust accordingly, but you want the team to tell you the truth. Now, if you want that person that is going to say, you're only normal, just try to do better, that's a more softer approach. And you need that sometimes, because by the time you get done with the other person telling you directly, you need some relief, some comfort. So take that and make sure that you have that time to recover and still think and process, okay, what are my next steps? So yes, have all personality types. That's why I asked Pam, and I'm giving real names because I'm proud of those relationships. Pam will give you that hard conversation. And there's been times I've called because I didn't want to hear the truth, but I know I needed it. And she gave it to me. She said, just let that one lay, because this is not what you need to worry about right now. Yes, Lisette.
Quick question. Since you mentioned personality, I was wondering, is there one personality test, or is there any personality test that you would put above the other in a certain situation? For instance, if you're looking for your professional strengths, would you choose a certain personality test versus if you're just wanting to get to know yourself? Is there a different choice?
You could take a couple of them. There's no real answer on one being better than the other one. I teach well, I don't teach. I have a session that people ask me for a lot, and it's on conflict resolution. I saw someone put in a EQ personality test. What I think, this is my opinion, what really you get out of that is who you are. And the next step is to search how you communicate with the other personality types. So take the extra step. If you find an assessment that gives you that information, how does an extrovert communicate with an introvert? And everyone has a different way of responding in that relationship, because in your teams, you're going to have people of all personality types, and how you navigate that conversation, that assessment gives you more of who you are and how to achieve the goal that you're trying to achieve in that personality of the person you're talking with. So yeah, that really is so helpful. And I have a friend who does some of that training, but I've not found a resource that says this one trumps over the other.
My hand is up. There is a test. It's called the Holland personality test.
Would you type that in the chat, please, Glenda?
Yeah, and maybe I should look for the link, because the Holland test is one that it's one that you pay for, but there are certain I want to say versions of it that you can use, and I'll look for it and get it. But the Holland test matches your personality with careers, and at the end of it, it actually links you to the I think the Department of Labor, or one of them, and it will tell you that these tests with base, so it's called RIASEC, RIASEC. R is realistic, I is investigative, A is artistic, S is social, E is enterprising, and C is conventional. I should know it, right? So that's basically it. So they will give you your, like I'm SEA. So when you answer the questions, it will give you the first three letters. It's just like the Myers-Briggs. And you will say a person who is SEA is a person who is social, enterprising, artistic. And so and then they'll say, when you click on the jobs, it will say people who have those three letters, they tend to find jobs that like these jobs, and they'll give you an example of the jobs that they find. And I'm going to look for it and see if I could put the link in.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Glenda. Right now, I know we are probably wrapping up. I do have a survey. So I'm learning from you today. So thank you for what you've entered into the chat. Thank you, Glenda, for bringing up that additional assessment for us to work from. But Taylor is going to drop in the chat a link to a survey. I'd love to get your feedback on today's session. I've heard some orally, but it's a short survey. Go ahead and please respond to that. And if you have any technical difficulties, let me know. And I'm also going to put in to the chat my email address. You have a way to reach me now as well. Thank you so much.